let's do a quick review about exponents. Can anyone tell me what an exponent is? An exponent is when you multiply a number by itself many times. It is expressed by writing a small number to the upper right corner of the base number, like this. In this equation, x is the base number and 4 is the exponent. This means that we multiply the base number times itself 4 times. This is how we'd write it out longhand. You might notice that the number of x's in the equation right here are the same number as the number in the exponent on top. That's because the exponent tells us how many times we need to multiply this number times itself. Let's try a few examples. When we look at 2 to the 5th, we can tell by looking at the exponent that we need to multiply 2 times itself 5 times. So when we would write it out longhand, this is what it would look like. So you're multiplying 2 times itself 5 times, or 2 to the 5th power, and that equals 32. Alright, you guys ready to try a couple more examples? Our next example is 5 to the 3rd power. When we look at 5 to the 3rd, we know that we have to multiply 5 times itself 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. 5 to the 3rd power is 125. Our next example is 3 to the 3rd power. When we multiply itself 3 times itself 3 times. And most of you can probably figure this out pretty fast in your head. 3 times 3 is 9, and then times 3 again is 27. 4 squared. Now, I'm sure most of you have done the power, like multiplying a number times itself and going to a square. So 4 squared is just 4 times 4, which is 16. 1 to the 7. Now, here's one that might be mistaken as a trick question. Because when you look at a question like 1 to the 7, when you multiply 1 times itself a load of times, it still equals 1. But when you see a 7 up here, you might still think that it might be bigger. The rule for 1 is you're always multiplying 1 times 1 times 1 infinitely many times. No matter how many times, your answer will always be 1. Our final example is 10 to the 3rd power. Most of us are pretty familiar with multiplying by tens. So this one is 10 times 10 times 10 again. And I'll write that out for you here. Now, can anybody tell me what 10 times 10 is? It's 100. To make it easy, just multiply it by 10 one more time, and then you have 1,000. It looks like you guys are all starting to get the hang of it, so I'm going to let you guys start your worksheets now.